It's already been a fun night in the Sweet 16, and now the fun continues in the West Regional with Arkansas and Arizona from San Jose. The West Regional semifinal, a much anticipated matchup between the number 4 seed out of the SEC and the number 1 seed out of the Big 12. The winner moves on to the regional final at the center in San Jose on Saturday. And they now know who will await them. Purdue, after a thrilling win against Texas, the Boilermakers await either the Hogs or the Wildcats. We say good evening, everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm Seth Dees. Thank you so much for being with us. We can save you the best seat in the house. What a matchup we have in prospect for you tonight. Arizona, who's been amongst the nation's elite all season long, a team that very much has national championship aspirations. Tommy Lloyd's team has been magnificent. Jaden Bradley, Braden Burst, and a whole cast of characters have led Arizona to this special season. And they truly believe they can win their first championship in nearly 30 years. Arkansas's last title was 32 years ago. But this year they might feel like they have a puncher's chance because they have the NCAA tournament's hottest property. Fabulous freshman Darius Acuff, who just continues to light up college basketball. And John Calipari has made another Sweet 16. And maybe the Hogs could be dreaming and feeling like 94 with a victory here tonight. I mean, again, it's just so interesting. There was some talk early about, the lack of Cinderellas, perhaps. And while the Cinderellas are cool, boy, you can't put a price tag on some of these matchups. Darius Acuff, the third player since 1984 to average at least 30 points and 5 assists in his first 2 NCAA tournament games of the tournament. The only other two that did that, Billy Donovan, who did it with Providence in '87, and the great Jimmer Fredette, who did it in 2011 with BYU. Acuff is joined by fellow freshman Malik Thomas, sophomore Billy Richmond, and seniors Malik Ewan and Trevin Brazil for Arkansas. For Arizona, the senior Bradley, the freshman Burris, Karchenkov, Koep, and Matthias Krivas, the starting lineup. 28-8 of the Razorbacks, Arizona 34-2. First meeting between the two since 1995. They met in a national semifinal back in '94, and away we go from San Jose to start this second regional semifinal out of the West. Arizona left to right in the white uniforms, and this 9th all-time meeting starts with an Arizona layup. It's Burris to the basket. It's 2-0 Wildcats. Here's Acuff now with it on the left wing. Arkansas, 15th trip. Sweet 16 looking for their 9th Elite 8 appearance as Thomas fumbles it, and an early turnover for the Razorbacks. Acuff did not get a touch on that possession. Here's Burris now for Arizona. We get a stoppage here at the 19-20 mark. Arizona with their 12th Elite 8 appearance in school history. And Tommy Lloyd is the second coach to make the Sweet 16 in 4 of his first 5 D1 seasons. The only other coach that can do that, another West Coast coach, Steve Lavin, when he did it at UCLA. Bradley triggers the inbound to Burris. Burris now on the right wing. Lob to Krivas on the right block. Arizona 11 straight wins, second longest active streak in D1 heading into tonight. Turnaround. Oh, good block by Arkansas. It goes into the hands of Acuff. Acuff now running the floor for the Razorbacks. Acuff accelerates high off the window. Gets the roll to lay in, and Acuff with his first points of the night. And we get another whistle and a foul. John Calipari, a national championship coach in 2012 when he was at the University of Kentucky. So back to live action, Arizona with a nice move. They work the post inside and a score for Koep. And so Arizona now leads it 4-2. Acuff now gets it to Brazil. Brazil now to Thomas. Now at the top of the key, it's A-Cuff. A-Cuff now meanders back to the left side. Now give it up to Thomas. Thomas with an extra pass to Brazil. Now Richmond in the corner for three. A little bit too strong. Rebound by Arizona Krivas. Bradley. Now here is Burris. Now over to Bradley. Pete. Now over to Bradley. Pete. Pete on a drive and a stuff. Koa Pete with some hops. And Arizona leads it 6-2. Great work inside by Pete. The Wildcats have a 4-point lead. Right to the basket here. A cuff and a foul, and it'll be the first of the night on Arizona. These two teams, as I mentioned, met 94. Acuff misses the first free throw, 81% free throw shooter. The only player since assist became official in 84 as Acuff makes the second. So he's actually foul shooting at 3. I must not have seen that. To have a 2-game tournament span with 60 points, 10 assists, and fewer than 5 turnovers. 60 points through 2 games, most ever by a freshman. Tommy Lloyd now having a discussion with the referee. Early days at San Jose, 6-3 Arizona. John Calipari tied with Tom Izzo for the most tournament wins by active head coaches, each with 61. Each looking for that second championship to put them over the top. Acuff makes the third, and it is 6-4 Arizona. Bradley over to Krivas. Krivas now over to Burris. Burris, he'll pull straight away 3. It's good. Braden Burris with a triple, and Arizona has a 9-4 lead. Arkansas at the other end. Thomas high off the window. No. Oh! Ewan leaps up with a no-look slam. How about that? Throw it down. Arizona going for the lob. Ewan knocked it away upstairs, and now Arkansas the breakout. Here's Acuff. He pulls and misses. You'd have banked on him to make it the way he's been shooting the last month. Here's Bradley on the accelerator, working on Acuff and missing the layup. Rebound Arkansas Thomas. Now this is becoming the trap meet. Oh, what a pass by Acuff. Fancy street ball like and one moves to Ewan. Ewan then had it blocked. It's going to stay with the Razorbacks. Arkansas now the lob to Ewan on the right wing. Ewan now will give it up to Richmond. Richmond to Brazil. His straightaway 3. Short off the front of the rim. Rebound Arizona Pete. Cats now run with Burris. Burris on the right wing. Trying to move it right wing. Now gives it to Krivas. Krivas now gives it to Bradley, the Big 12 Player of the Year. Back to Burris on the right wing. Burris with 14 to shoot. Meanders to the left side. Now at 12. Spinning in the lane. Burris then stumbles. Falls. Arkansas wanted to walk. Tie up. And the arrow favors Arkansas. So Arkansas with the inbounds pass. They'll get it into Acuff. Acuff. Lob and a little bit short on the runner. Here is Burris now. On the left wing. Burris now gives it up to Awaka. Bradley. On the move. Bradley on the accelerator. Pete. Stripped. Pete did get it back. Bradley, left corner 3 is good. Down the chute from Jaden Bradley. And Arizona now doubling up Arkansas 12-6. Arkansas has yet to make a three in this game. Up the floor now, it's Acuff. Acuff to Brazil, now back over to Acuff. Acuff now to Brazil. Fakes, drives, and accelerates. And a two-hand stufferino by Brazil. 12-8 Arizona on top. Bradley back the other way. He'll give it to Burris. Here's Karchenkov. Karchenkov on the accelerator, and Karchenkov lays it in. Good move by Karchenkov to make it a 6-point Arizona lead. 5 minutes into this one. West Regional Semifinal, the 1 and the 4 seeds. 2 seed Purdue awaiting on Saturday. Richmond now gives it to Acuff left wing. Now back over to Thomas. Thomas flings it. Acuff in the corner. It's good. A 3-ball for Acuff. And it's now a 14-11 Arizona lead. Acuff with 7 of Arkansas's first 11 points. Pete drives in. Off the window. Rims out. A Waka got the rebound. And a flush with one hand. My God, are we seeing some slams or what? 16-11 Arizona. At the other end, Richmond. Back to Acuff. Acuff straight away. Short. Arizona the other way. 13:48 to play first half. They go inside Arizona. Pete missing. And we get a whistle here. I believe we're going to get a foul on Arkansas. And that'll take us to a break with 13:45 to play in the first half. And the score, Arizona 16, Arkansas 11. (16-11) Arizona on top. Arkansas with 13:45 to play in the first half. We gave you some Arkansas notes. How about some notes from the Arizona side of things, San Jose has been a bit of a cursed place for Arizona, if you will. The only two times the Wildcats have played at the building that is known during hockey season as the Shark Tank, they lost both games in the Sweet 16 in 2002 to Oklahoma, and then as a 1 seed in 2017, or as a 2 seed, 2017 to Xavier. Pete makes the first free throw to give Arizona a 6-point lead. Arizona, if they make 4 free throws tonight, now 3. If they make 3 more free throws, they'll break a program record for free throws made in a year with 704, but that one is missed. And Brazil gets the rebound for the Razorbacks. Here is Nick Pringle into the game. Now over to Richmond. Richmond fouled by Arizona. Second foul. Tommy Lloyd, 146 wins in 5 seasons. That's an NCAA record for a coach starting his career. Inbound, Acuff. Now over to Richmond. Richmond now fleets it to Brazil. Thought about the 3. Now he'll drive with the right block. Dribbles it over to Thomas. Thomas with down the timer on the right wing. Now changes hands to the dribble. Thomas smooth with 7. Thomas into the lane. A little bit high. Off the heel. No good. But a foul called on Arizona. With it being in the act of shooting, that should be free throws for Malik Thomas, the freshman from Pittsburgh. On the year, Thomas averaging 16 points and 4 rebounds a game, second leading scorer on the team, an 85% free throw shooter, nothing but net on the first one. Donald's All-American. He's been good. Of course, this is the first ever Sweet 16 matchup featuring 2 teams with freshmen as the team's top 2 in points per game. Now, you sit here and think about how freshmen dominated this sport to become in the last 20 to 25 years. It's a pretty crazy statistic. Both free throws good. Arizona up by 4. Chenkov, now over to Krivas on the left block. High post. Krivas, help side man Kane. Karchenkov in the lane. Kick out. Del Orso for 3. Could be a spark play off the bench, and he got the friendly shooter's touch. Del Orso knocks it down. And it's a 7-point lead for the Wildcats. Brazil now with it for Arkansas. Brazil now over to Richmond. Now Brazil on the left block. Brazil with Oss now over to Richmond. Richmond, good pass. And a 2-hand rim rocker by Pringle. Man, are we seeing some aggressive dunks in these first near 8 minutes of the game. Back to a 5-point Arizona lead. Archenkov right wing. Now he's going to accelerate. He goes for the reverse layup. No, but he gets fouled. And free throws coming up. Ivan Karchenkov averaging 10 points and 4 rebounds a game. 73% free throw shooter. 6'7" freshman from Munich, Germany. Played for FC Bayern Munich since the age of 12. Joined their senior team at the age of 16. First free throw is good. He led their youth team in scoring at 22.5 a game during the 23-24 season before joining the senior team rotation for the next year. And he helped Germany to 3rd place at the FIBA Under-18 Euros in 2023. Second free throw, no good. Acuff chases the rebound down. Won the gold of the 2024 FIBA Under-18 Euro basket tournament. Here comes Arkansas with it. Razorbacks on a 6-point hold. Richmond to Acuff. Acuff, Richmond now back to Acuff on the left block. Kicks it out towards Brazil. Brazil threw it away. Turnover, and it will go back to Arizona. Each team with 2 turnovers to start this game. So Brazil goes to the bench. 12:04 to play in the first half. Arizona with a 6-point lead. Burry's now within on the right wing. Now feeds it to Krivas. Krivas now to Karchenkov. Lost it. Lob to Krivas. Krivas inside. Krivas, little hook shot from 2. It's good. Nice work by Krivas. And Arizona's lead is now at 8 points. Now Richmond on the left wing. He'll accelerate with a left-hand dribble, drive, and a missed layup. Arizona now pushing it the other way. Burry's with it on the right wing. Burry's now trying to run. 22 in the timer. Karchenkov a lob to Awaka. Awaka! He lays it in and one. And a chance at a 3-point play for the former Tennessee Volunteer, who took a bit of a hit on the way down after that, and he is not getting up yet. So, oh boy, that's scary stuff there. We'll be right back with the free throw. 11:25 to play first half. A 10-point lead for the top seed Arizona Wildcats. $11:25 to play in the first half. 25-15 lead for the top seed of the West, the Arizona Wildcats, against the number 4 seed, the Arkansas Razorbacks. Big 12 versus SEC in San Jose. Toby Awaka did get up, albeit a little gingerly. But he is feeling good enough to where he will shoot the free throws. A 65% free throw shooter on the year. And Awaka, nothing but net, the Hyde Park, New York native. And now he'll go to the bench, and Koa Peak comes back in for Arizona, who's hit a good spell here and now leads by 11. Pringle. Now over to Razorbacks, now over to Richmond. Arkansas with its largest deficit of the tournament. Good pass inside, though, and a two-handed flush by Pringle And 26-17 now, Arizona on top. Pete top of the key. Del Orso had it tapped away by Richmond. It's going to go out of bounds, and it'll stay with Arkansas. Or with Arizona, I beg your pardon. Razorbacks, over again on one of our other streams tomorrow, or on the main stream tomorrow, we'll have, no, main stream, tomorrow we'll have two more games. Is Bradley off the window good? We'll have both of those action-packed games from the East. St. John's Duke at 7, and then about 30 minutes afterwards, Michigan State and Connecticut. Here is Thomas. 3 ball. That's too strong. Now Arkansas has it with Richmond. Off his keister. Gave it up to Wagner. Now it's Ewin. Ewin left block trying to work it. Ewin into the paint. Ewin a little hook shot way off the mark. Ball loose. Here comes Arizona with Bradley. What a pass. Dwayne Aristode with it. He'll give it to Krivas. Now back to Bradley right wing. Bradley with a pass to Krivas. Krivas a little hook shot. It is short. And the rebound gathered in by Arkansas. Here's Wagner. Razorbacks need to get something going. Halfway through the first half, they're down 11. Ball bounced out of the hands of Pringle and now into the hands of Thomas. Thomas bumped from behind by Del Orso. No good, but a foul called. So with 9:50 to play in the first half, Malik Thomas back to the line, who's averaging 20 points a game in this tournament. He really was the one, for as good as Acuff's been playing. That's pretty good stuff. And really, if you watch, you'll know he really hit some big shots in that win against High Point. First free throw good. Razorbacks, of course, with 2 wins, beating 2 double-digit seeds to get here, beating Hawaii and High Point, of course. So this game also featuring a pair of conference tournament winners. Arkansas, of course, winning the tournament in the SEC. Arizona winning it in the Big 12. They beat LIU and Utah State to advance to the round of 16. Second free throw good. Back to single digits. Arizona up by 9. So here is Bradley with the basketball. Now he'll give it up to P on the left wing. That foul on Del Orso, by the way, his second. Burry's now over to Bradley. Krivas. Krivas on a bounce pass to Bradley. Deflected and loose. Arkansas trying to run with it. This is Thomas. Acuff now on a drive. Fling to Wagner. His 3. In and out. Rebound. Arizona. Burry's with it. Now it's over to Pete. Pete now finds Bradley. Bradley a good pass. Here is Pete knifing in. And Pete misses but draws the foul. 16 foul on Arkansas as Pete will go to the line. A 61% free throw shooter who averages 14 points a game. Freshman from Chandler, Arizona. Averaging 15 points and 9 rebounds in this tournament. First free throw is up, and it is good. In their opening night win against Florida, he became the first Big 12 player to ever post 30 points and 5 assists in his debut. His mother is native Hawaiian. The name Koa is Hawaiian for strong warrior. Second free throw, also good, in Arizona. Now up 11 with 9:12 to play in the first. Arkansas with it now. Here is Brazil now over to Wagner. Wagner over to Acuff on the left wing. Acuff now with 17. He'll give it to Ewin. Ewin now to Acuff. Acuff gives it up. Here's Ewin, and Ewin scores. Good job there. Malik Ewin with a nice finish, and Arkansas cuts it back to a 9-point game. Here is Bradley. Bradley on the left wing now gives it up to Pete. Bradley. Now over to Burris on the right wing. Burris on the accelerator. He'll drive, and we get a whistle. I think we get a foul on the floor on Arkansas. That would be the 7th, so this would be 1-and-1 free throws coming up for U of A. Indeed it is, the 7th team foul on the Hogs. 1-1 here for Arizona. For Burris, and he hits the front end. 80% free throw shooter. Freshman from San Bernardino, California is Braden Burris. He felt something going on there, so he pulls back. Now he goes back to the free throw line. He will take his second free throw. And good. Lead back at 11 for Arizona. Here's Acuff for Arkansas on the right wing. Now gives it to Ewing. Now Brazil. Now over to Thomas. Thomas on a drive. Thomas high off the window. No, but he got fouled. So he'll go to the line for 2. He was trying to drive it to the basket. Foul called on Malik Thomas. Thomas 4 points, all of which have come at the free throw line. First free throw up and good. So Thomas still perfect at the line. John Calipari a little bit frustrated. He'll sit back down. Second free throw, no good. Rebound, Arizona and Krivas. Each team 7 of 9 at the charity stripe. Karchenkov gives it to Pete. Pete over to Burry's left wing. Now it goes back to Pete. Pete on the left block trying to drive. Pete trying to knife. Fade away. Left it short. Krivas skied for the rebound. Krivas a little hook shot. And it goes in. Good work by Krivas. And Arizona kind of getting what they want right now. They lead it by a dozen. With inside of 8 minutes to play in the half. Here is Acuff. Acuff on a drive. Back to Brazil. Left corner 3. A little too long. Rebound Arizona Burris. Wildcats now on the run. Burris running the show. He's going to pull from the right wing. He leaves it short. Rebound skied by Brazil. Give it to Thomas on the right wing. Bounce pass now to Wagner. Wagner trying to work on the right block. Wagner driving to the basket. Layup. Gets the roll. Pretty finish there for DJ Wagner. And that makes it a 10-point game with 7:11 to play in the first. Arizona has it. Bradley now at the free throw line. Lob to Krivas. Hook shot left short. Rebound gathered in by Ewing. Now Acuff. Acuff trying to go. Acuff for 3. Hasn't been there for him so far tonight. And off the heel he missed. Rebound Arizona Krivas. Now the Wildcats will slowly bring it up the floor. Bradley now over to Pete. Pete now over to Burris. Now it's Karchenkov, little floater. And nice finish by Karchenkov. Back to a 12-point lead for the Wildcats. Thomas on the right wing. Wagner. Now over to Acuff. Acuff now to Brazil. Wagner a 3. That one down the can. They needed that one, and DJ Wagner drilling a triple for the Razorbacks at the 6-minute mark. Still a 9-point Arizona lead. Burris now over to Pete. Bradley. Krivas, a little hook shot from 5. Good. Good work inside by Krivas, and then a whistle as soon as the playing in. We'll step aside. 5:47 to go first half. You see the score. It's Arizona 38, Arkansas 27. We'll be right back. 5:47 to play in the first half. 38-27 the lead for Arizona over Arkansas. West Regional Semifinal. Sweet 16 tonight in the West, and in the South in Houston. Illinois and Houston playing the second game right now. How about Iowa? We'll touch more on that a little later at the half. And what they did against Nebraska. Of course, you got two tomorrow. We've already mentioned the two games in the East tomorrow. St. John's Duke and Michigan State UConn. We'll also have the two ones in the Midwest tomorrow night. Alabama versus Michigan. And then Tennessee against Iowa State. There was a foul on Arkansas, by the way, on that basket by Karchenkov after the fact. So Karchenkov, after he got fouled, now shooting a 1-and-1. He's hit the front end, now the second. And he's got it. Arizona up by 13. Brazil now over to Richmond. Largest lead of the night for Arizona. They lead it by a baker's dozen. Brazil handed off to Richmond. Richmond now back to the arc. Richmond trying to spin, kick out. Brazil a right wing three. A lot of arc. Too much arc. Air ball. Bradley loose. Falls down. Gets it back to Awaka. Arizona on the run with numbers. Up to Karchenkov, who blew the bunny but got fouled in the process. Well, Arizona showing you right now why they have been amongst the best teams in the United States since night one, literally. They beat Florida opening night, and really, it's just been an absolute wagon ever since. Only 2 losses on the year, at Kansas and at home to Texas Tech. Karchenkov makes the first, another one coming. Second free throw good. And Arizona just continues to build this lead. Up the floor, Acuff. Acuff now gives it to Ewan. Richmond on a drive. That's a good move there by Richmond. Billy Richmond the third with a nice move. 42-29. Bradley. Karchenkov. He now gets it back to Bradley on the right wing. Bradley, Arizona shooting 67% for the field. You'll win games doing that. Awaka. Burris. Burris drives. He'll take the 13-footer. Oh, he gets the friendly roll. It bounced. Looked like it was going to be short. It bounced off the front of the rim and then rattled in. Arizona now at 44-29. Acuff now over to Richmond. Ewan. Richmond. Nice take. Richmond. Good move inside by Billy Richmond. Arkansas trying to get it, but they can't be trading baskets at this point. Got to get a lot of stops and a lot of baskets. 13-point game. Pete on the left block. Knifing inside. No good. No foul either. Good defense there by Pringle. Arkansas runs with Acuff. Acuff out of control. Then he gets fouled. It'll be the 6th team foul on Arizona. 3:58 to go first half. The score, it's Arizona 44, Arkansas 31. under 3:58 to go first half, 44-31 Arizona. When we come back, we'll get you caught up on all the latest tournament news. Look ahead to tomorrow night's action to give you the schedule of tomorrow's games of the men's tournament, as well as get you a look ahead at what happened in some of the other women's postseason tournaments, as well as a look ahead to the NCAA Women's Sweet 16 this weekend. And all the latest coaching news, including a rather bizarre situation that played out between Raleigh and the Bayou earlier today. Latest on the North Carolina job. A lot of other things happening in this one. 13-point game as we get set to resume. Inbound Arkansas Ewan. And another turnover. I was just getting ready to say that if you're Arkansas, if you could get this to single digits at the half, that would be a pretty good accomplishment. But unfortunately, for them, that got hurt. And oh my word, when Toby Awaka's doing stuff like that, good luck. He's got 7. I'd say he's just fine. Arizona back up 15. Thomas right lane, now over to Acuff. Acuff now, 11 to shoot. Acuff, high off the glass, no. Oh, putback slam, Pringle. Just turning into a jam session with all the electrifying dunks in this game. Awaka, blocked. Drive to the basket and a good block, Pringle. Arkansas the run now with Richmond. Drives and scores. 4 quick points for Arkansas. Pringle a little bit gimpy, and Arizona is going to take a use it or lose it timeout. 3:01 to go in the first half. We're going to keep it here. 46-35 Arizona. High scoring first half as you would expect. The big question now is, again, the question now is, can Arkansas get to single digits? Arizona Arizona been shooting the ball extremely well. Again, Arizona just too strong. Tommy Lloyd has just been amazing. Big reason why Arizona has this 11 point. They've had this year, Tommy Lloyd again, trying to shake a stigma. Arizona has the tradition of what's hurt their history over time has been a tradition of losing to lower seeds in the NCAA tournament. despite having some really good regular season. Again, hard to believe in so many ways that, they only average 16 threes a game. They're kind of old school. They don't really rely on the three. But Arizona, again, hard to believe in some ways that has been almost 30 years since that lone national title they won that night in Indianapolis in '97. A thriller when they beat Kentucky. Arizona 6.5 3-pointers made the tournament, third fewest among Sweet 16 teams. Waka keeps it now, gives it up to Karchenkov. Karchenkov driving, puts it up with 10 on the timer. It's good. Nothing but net for Karchenkov. Arizona's lead at 13. Karchenkov 11 points, 3 of 3 from the floor. Richmond with 18. Now over to Acuff. Moves over to the right. Acuff trying to move. Here is Acuff now with 8 to shoot. Ewan. Strip. Foul. So it's going to be a 1-1 coming up here for the Razorbacks. 13-point lead for U of A. Ewan averaging 15 points and 12 rebounds in this tournament. On the year, he shoots at a 73% clip. Free throw line. Tommy Lloyd arguing with the officials about that foul call. The front end of a 1-1 just spins in for Ewan. Second free throw, good. 11-point game, 2:11 to play first half. They're at the half in Houston, between Illinois and Houston. Here is Bradley on the left wing. Now he goes to the right. Bradley. Karchenkov now feeds it to Burris. Burris now over to Krivas. Krivas, little turnaround hook shot, good. Pretty by Krivas. And Arizona up by 13. Every time Arkansas can get to 11 or 13, Arizona just has an answer. Here is Acuff, left block. Little wraparound. Thomas, Euro step, and he puts it in. Great work by Malik Thomas. Arizona now over to Bradley. Bradley in the left wing now meanders to the right. Gives it to Awaka. Awaka, a little floater. Rims out, no good. Arkansas the rebound. Razorbacks on the run with Richmond. Tossing it to the trailing Acuff. Now it's Thomas. Nearing a minute to play first half. Thomas, triple, rims out. Back tap over to Richmond. It's Richmond on a drive. No. Came back to Pringle. And as he got the rebound, there's a whistle. I think there might have been a violation against Arkansas. It's a foul against Arkansas. So two free throws coming up now for. So I think they actually called a charge there on Richmond. John Calipari is in utter disbelief over on that Arkansas sideline. Three fouls on Ewan. Previous at the line. 78% foul shooter. And it's good on the first. Previous, the 7'2" junior from Lithuania. Brazil comes back in for the Razorbacks. Here's Krivas. He'll put it up and gets the friendly roll off the rim and in. And Arizona now at by 13. 146 wins the last 5 years by Arizona, the most by any team without a Final Four appearance. 3 Sweet 16s, the best they could muster. Acuff on a drive and scores. He's been quiet in this first half. He has just 9 points. At least that feels quiet given to compared to what he's done in this tournament. Bradley. Bradley leaning in, and he is fouled. Five points, 2 assists for Jaden Bradley. First free throw, good. Arizona now with 53 first half points. Make it 54. This offense has just been so good all year, averaging 86 a game. On pace to shatter that against the team averaging 90. It's on pace to get short of that. 8 up drives, and then he's fouled. 13-point game with 7.2 to play in this first half. So here's Acuff at the charity stripe. Makes the first one. So another one coming for Acuff. Again, halftime coming up. A lot of goodies for you coming up, as always. Darius Acuff averaging 30 points a game his last 5. 10 tonight, now 11 after that free throw. Final 7 seconds of the first half. Arizona up the floor with Bradley. Bradley on a run. 15-footer left short. Rebound Arkansas, and they will not get a shot off before the end of the first half. They tried one, but it wouldn't have counted even if it had went, but it was woefully short. And that will take us to the intermission. What a first half for the top seed of the West, the Arizona Wildcats. It's kind of weird to see some of their players walking up with towels on their head. It's like they barely broke a sweat to get to 54 points. Up by 11, and with Purdue in their sights. Halftime in San Jose. At the break, it's Arizona 54, Arkansas 43. We'll be right back with our halftime activities in just a moment. An efficient first half for Arizona, to put it mildly. 67% the Wildcats shot in the first half. No real answers for the Razorbacks, the champions of the Big 12, leading the tournament champions of the SEC by 11 after 20 in San Jose. Back, everybody. Set the ease ledge. Get you caught on what else is happening across college basketball and sports, for that matter. In college basketball, of course, the men's tournament Sweet 16 action. One other game in progress at the half of the South Regional. Illinois leading Houston 24-22. The winner in that game meets the Iowa Hawkeyes in the Elite Eight for the first time since 1987. They beat Nebraska 77-71. A great year for the Cornhuskers. Ends at 28-7. Iowa's 24th win, led by Alvaro Falgares. Sage had a big night as well. The Hawkeyes win. Here in the West, Arizona's up 11. Winner in the other game tonight. What a thriller. Purdue outlasting Texas 79-77. The 30th win of the year for the Boilermakers. Now they're one win away from their second Final Four in 3 years. Tomorrow in the tournament, it starts at 7 Eastern. We'll have the 7:10 stream. St. John's against Duke in the East bracket. The other early game tomorrow night around 7:35. Alabama takes aim with the Midwest top seed Michigan. The late game start around 9:45. Michigan State, UConn. What a game that'll be. And Tennessee taking on Iowa State. Well, college basketball coaching carousel can be pretty wild, but even by wild carousel standards, what conspired in the South today is pretty wild on so many levels. After just 1 year guiding the North Carolina State program, Will Wade is on his way back to Louisiana State University, where, of course, he coached from the 2017-18 season until his dismissal at the end of the 2021-22 season. What makes this all the more wild is, of course, in addition to the usual stuff of Wade saying some of the usual things and NC State fans being not pleased with how Wade has gone about this, is the also bizarre situation that despite the school, and LSU that is, announcing the hiring of Wade, they have not yet made an announcement of the firing of head coach Matt McMahon. Very bizarre situation, but the bottom line is Will Wade's back at LSU, and NC State now has to do a coaching search yet again. The North Carolina job, of course, is an open one. There's plenty of candidates that are being linked with the job. One insists that he's staying put. At a press conference ahead of tomorrow's Sweet 16 game, Alabama's Nate Oates said, quote, "No reason to leave." Speaking in the Midwest tomorrow, Iowa State says Joshua Jefferson will decide if he plays. Jefferson hurt his ankle in last Friday's first-round win against Tennessee State. Did not play in the Cyclones' second-round romp at Kentucky. Boston College has, by the way, Duke's Caleb Foster also a game-time decision for their game with St. John's tomorrow. And Boston College has a new coach, Luke Murray, the UConn assistant, the son of the great comedic actor Bill. So he'll try to reverse the fortunes of the Boston College men's basketball program. There. The NCAA women's basketball. The women's tournaments, the women's Sweet 16 begins tomorrow with 4 games at 2:30 Eastern. The Fort Worth 1 regional starts it off at 2:30. Two of the top 3 scorers in the country as Hannah Hidalgo leads 6th-seeded Notre Dame against the 2-seed Vanderbilt. Then at 5, the undefeated defending champions UConn will play North Carolina. Then in the Sacramento 2 regional, the night games come from California State Capitol, Minnesota, UCLA, and then what should be a great battle between Duke and LSU. Saturday Sweet 16 begins at 12:30 with Fort Worth 3 action. Louisville and Michigan. That was an Elite 8 game 4 years ago. And then Kentucky against top-seeded Texas in an all-SEC affair. Then at 5 o'clock, the two games from Sacramento 4. At 5 o'clock, Oklahoma against South Carolina. Sooners beat the Gamecocks in overtime for one of Carolina's 3 losses. And then the lowest seed in the tournament left, 10th seeded Virginia, taking on TCU. And when those games are over with, the women's tournament will be down to a select 8. And real quick, trying to get some more some more in-depth action here from college basketball. Of course, this time of year we start keeping up with all the other tournament action. Tomorrow, the Division II Final Four takes center stage. Tomorrow in Pittsburgh, Nova Southeastern will take on Lander, and then Gannon meets Oklahoma Baptist. The winner of those games will play in Indianapolis April 5th for the D2 Men's Championship. How about the D2 Women's Tournament? The D2 Women's Tournament Final Four action tonight in the first semifinal. Indiana, Pennsylvania beat Colorado Mesa 75-70. Next up for them, they'll get a crack at the top seed in that regional. Grand Valley, the top seed in that D2 Women's Tournament, the Lakers of Grand Valley State, who won over Alabama Huntsville tonight in Pittsburgh in their semifinals. So the two-time and defending national champions with a 61-39 win tonight. So Grand Valley State, Indiana, PA, that's your D1. That's your D2 women's tournament. Of course, the D3 women's tournament champion was crowned last week as Denison beat Scranton 55-41. The Division III men's basketball tournament had its national semifinals last week. That final will be in a couple weeks with on April 5th as well. Mary Washington against Emory. And in Kansas City, the traditional NAIA tournament coming to a conclusion. 2 nights ago, the NAIA Men's Championship was held. Freed Hardeman won the title over Langston 76-71. And over on the women's side, Marion beat Dordt 73-61. So that's what's happening in college basketball. Let's now take a look at what else is happening in the tonight across the sports world. In the NBA. In the NBA, short program tonight, 3 games. How about the Hornets? Con Kneppel, 26 points. Charlotte beat New York 114-103. Also in the association tonight, it was Detroit 129, New Orleans 108, and Orlando beat hapless Sacramento 121-117. That stopped a 6-game Magic losing streak. 30 points, 9 boards, 7 assists for Banchero. Con Kneppel, by the way, 26 in that game. That win for Charlotte snapped a 7-game winning streak for the New York Knicks, and it put Charlotte in the 9th seed. They're just a game and a half back of Toronto for 6th. What a year it has been for the Hornets. So that's how things are going as the NBA season draws near its conclusion. There tonight, Orlando, of course, with a good win. With that win, they stay 8th. Philadelphia, Orlando, Charlotte, Miami, currently the 4 teams in the play-in, and it looks like those are going to be the 2 that will contest the play-in round. So that would be just fantastic for the Hornets if they could do that. The NHL postseason race is also heating up. A busy night across the hockey NHL landscape. Games in progress. The Capitals and the Mammoth tied at 3 in Salt Lake at the start of the third. 12:14 to go in the third. Calgary leads Anaheim by 2-1. Edmonton leading Vegas 2-1. That's in the second. Also in the second, it's Los Angeles 2-0 over Vancouver. Earlier tonight, It was Montreal 2, Columbus 1. Pittsburgh beat Ottawa in a shootout 4-3. Another 4-3 overtimer. Seattle wins at Tampa Bay. Minnesota 3, Florida 2. The Islanders beat the Stars 2-1. Philadelphia 5-1 over Chicago. New Jersey down Nashville 4-2. San Jose fell to St. Louis 2-1 in overtime. And Colorado a 3-2 winner at Winnipeg. So what does that mean for the NHL standings down the stretch? As far as the wild card race and everything goes, in the East, in the Atlantic, Buffalo on 96, Tampa 94, Montreal 90. Currently the top three. Of course, the top three get locked into the playoffs in each division. Carolina, Pittsburgh, Columbus are three in the Metro. As far as the wild card is concerned, the Bruins currently have the first wild card spot. The Islanders have the second by 1 point over the Senators, 3 over the Red Wings as we're coming down to the final 9-10 games. The Flyers are 5 back, Capitals 8 back, Devils, Maple Leafs, Panthers, even though they're a long way back, are mathematically still alive. The only team that's been eliminated in the East have been the New York Rangers. Only one team in the West has been eliminated from the postseason. That's the Vancouver Canucks. Colorado and Dallas, the only two teams that have clinched postseason berths, the top two in the Central. Avs heading for the President's Trophy on 106 points. Stars have 97, Wild 94. The Ducks lead the Pacific on 84. The Oilers are second with 79. The Golden Knights 78. Utah and Nashville hold the wild cards. Nashville holds the second wild card by 3 points over Seattle and LA. 5 up on Winnipeg. 6 clear of the Sharks and the Blues. 10 ahead of Calgary and Chicago. So it's going to go right down to the wire. For most teams, it was opening day of the Major League Baseball season. One game in progress. Seattle leads Cleveland 2-1, top of the 5th. Earlier today, Paul Skeens got lit up like a Christmas tree as the Mets beat the Pirates 11-1 at Citi Field. Brewers beat the White Sox 14-2. How about Justin Crawford? 2 hits in his debut for Philadelphia. They beat Texas 5-3. The Dodgers, the reigning world champs, got a win from Yamamoto. 8-2, they beat Arizona. Cardinals over the Rays 9-7. Detroit 8-2 over San Diego. Angels beat the Astros 3-0. Red Sox beat Cincinnati by that same score. Baltimore 2-1 winner over Minnesota. Washington beat Chicago, the Cubs, 10-4 as the NHL season, or the MLB season gets cranked up. Soccer, World Cup qualifying playoffs are underway. The World Cup qualifying playoffs as we fill out the final spots for this summer's World Cup in North America. One game being played right now, in the Intercontinental bracket, New Caledonia and Jamaica 0-0 after 14 minutes. Earlier tonight in Guadalajara, it was Bolivia who beat Suriname by 2-1. So that Bolivia, the last time Bolivia was in the World Cup, you have to go back to, it was in America last, 1994. So you can, I think you could pretty much you can set your watch to it that every 32 years the World Cup is going to be in America, and Bolivia is going to make it. Well, Bolivia hasn't clinched their World Cup spot yet, I should say, so might need to hold up on thinking that per se, but it is a big win for them as they do beat Suriname in that qualifying playoff as we are trying to get some, World War III is happening behind the scenes over here, so we're trying to get things organized. All right, looks like we do. We finally have some things organized. Oh, thank God. All right, so now we can, well, I thought we could review the playoffs. I guess not. All right, we'll do just refresh. See, the things we do to bring you content here is really amazing. You sit here and think about it. It is just... it's wild. So, the Interconfederation playoffs, Bolivia with that win, now will play Iraq in Guadalupe next Monday, the 31st. The Jamaica-New Caledonia winner will play the Democratic Republic of the Congo. In the UEFA qualifying playoff semifinals, Turkey 1-0 winner over Romania. Ireland's World Cup hopes ended on penalties. Czechia winning that one. Denmark also advancing 4-0 over North Macedonia. Italy saw off Northern Ireland 2-0. Poland a 2-1 winner over Albania. Kosovo on the verge of a historic World Cup qualification. 4-3 over Slovakia. Sweden 3-1 over the Ukraine. Bosnia beat Wales on penalties in that one. There was also one notable international friendly, Brazil, in Foxborough tonight. France beat Brazil 2-1. Kylian Mbappe amongst the goal scorers for France. So that's what's happening there as the international break, a long international break, if you will. So here is now what's going to happen Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, the qualifying playoff finals, the 4 qualifying playoff finals in the UEFA regional. Bosnia, one match decided all. Bosnia against Italy, Sweden versus Poland, Kosovo, Turkey, and Czechia against Denmark. And then, of course, Iraq, Bolivia, and the Jamaica New Caledonia winner plays Congo. We'll be back in just a short moment with the second half between Arizona and Arkansas. Well, an incredible 67% shooting display by Arizona in the first half. They now lead at 54-43 over Arkansas as the Wildcats are now 20 minutes away from their first Elite Eight appearance in over a decade. You have to go back to 2015, the second of the 2 years they lost to the Elite Eight in Wisconsin the last time they went. Again, some pretty long droughts for this proud program. They have not been to the Elite Eight in 11 years. We've mentioned it's been 29 since the championship, and it's been 25 since the last Final Four. That was 2001. Gilbert Arenas' Richard Jefferson and friends beat Michigan State in the semis before losing to Duke in the championship game. Second half underway. Arizona goes right to left of the white uniforms. Arkansas the opposite direction. Red uniforms with the white numerals. Here comes Arizona. And falling down in the lane. Good move. Koa Pete got it back, and Pete with a lay-in to start the second half for U of A. Acuff now over to Brazil. Thomas. Brazil. Left wing 3. Left it short. Arizona went for the save. Burris now gave it up to... Check out that to Burris. Arizona is 9-0 all-time in the tournament when they score 50 or more points in the first half. Burris on a fake now drives to the left block. Tied for the 5th most points in the first half of the Sweet 16 game all-time. 54 of them, and already with 2 in the second half. 7 to shoot. Bradley drives through and lays it in. Boy, no resistance from Arkansas. Bradley scores, and Arizona's lead back to 15, lickety-split. Bradley has 9. Acuff now dribbles it across midcourt. Acuff on the move. Acuff back to Brazil. Now over to Thomas. Thomas in the paint. Thomas jump shot. No. Another thunderous slam, though. A putback slam with one hand by Brazil. Now that makes it a 13-point game. Oh, what a bounce pass. Krivas to a cutting Pete, and he throws it down with 2 hands. What a slam by Koa Pete. Acuff for Arkansas. Pull up just inside the paint, and he scores. 2 for Acuff. Nice jumper there. $13 for Acuff. Crevis. Oh, nice job inside. It's 2 more for Crevis. And Arizona now up by 15 early in the second half. Acuff on the left block. Acuff drives, left the layup short. Rebound Arizona, Burris. Cats trying to run. Burris, Euro step, throws. Got it and one. Steve Kerr among those in the house. The Golden State Warriors head coach, who, of course, played in Arizona. And he's loving what he's seeing from his alma mater. A chance to go up 18 at the foul line. $11 points, 4 rebounds for Burris. So now here's Acuff, main free throw for the main free throw. Acuff up the floor. Acuff, 15-footer, and it's in and out. Out of bounds, ball stays with Arkansas. John Calipari looking on. Rough night at the office. Crevis now back in. Arizona. Acuff with a bounce pass. And 2 easy points there for Richmond. Still a 16-point lead for the Wildcats, though. Karchenkov driving, missing the layup. Karchenkov now back to Burris. Bradley now trying to direct traffic. Bradley on the right wing. Bradley moves, misses layup, rebounded Arkansas, Brazil. Here is Acuff. Acuff on the accelerator, and Acuff gets fouled. So Acuff the free throw line, a chance to get 2 more points, and he will knock the first one down. Acuff with another one coming. Makes the second. This is Bradley with it now for Arizona. Now Pete on the accelerator to the basket. Pete drives and scores. Pete with 2 more, and Arizona's lead now at 16. Pete with 13 points. Richmond, he fires a 3, and that one's good. Actually, they're going to call that. I think they're going to call that a 2. They are going to call that a 2-point basket. So 67-53. You see the score change. I'll wait for the ball, and that will be on Arkansas. So 15:54 to play. The score: Arizona 67, Arkansas 53. Well, it's not good for Arkansas. John Calipari chewing out his assistants. Now, Michigan State's not playing in the West Regional, but former Spartan Draymond Green is in the house, among the famous dignitaries in the house tonight. We've already mentioned Steve Kerr, Mike Dunleavy Jr., who's the general manager of the Warriors. Arizona fans will sick of the sight of him. He hit some big threes in that aforementioned 2001 championship game. So we resume action here with Arizona leading it by 14. Rivas now missing the bunny. Richmond to Arkansas. Acuff now back to Richmond. Richmond in the lane. Runner rimmed out. Ewan fighting for it. Had it stripped out of his hands and then back into the hands of Krivas. Now here's Bradley up to Karchenkov, and Karchenkov lays it in and a quick timeout. 15:31 to go. The lead 16 for Arizona. It's all Wildcats in San Jose. $15:31 left. Arizona with a 16-point lead. And this one, meanwhile, Illinois is up 18 on Houston. Acuff on a drive. Acuff, and he is fouled. Foul here. Acuff makes the first. Darius Acuff, a great year. Third player to win both SEC Player and Freshman of the Year in the same season. Season program records in points and assists. MVP of the conference tournament. Makes the second free throw. .14 lead for Arizona. Jaden Bradley with it. Bradley just blew by on the accelerator. Popped the clutch, and Arizona by 16. And now a steal for Arizona. So a turnover for Arkansas. Burry's three. That one's good. And it's a 19-point Arizona lead. Largest lead of the night. Arkansas gets two on a basket. They able to get dry to the basket. .14 to play. Here's a drive. Burries. How about two more? Arizona. Burries now with 17 in this one. Thomas a three. That one rims out. Pete gets the board and now feeds it to Bradley. Bradley had the ball stripped. It's tapped around, and now Arkansas comes out of there with it. Richmond fouled on his way down. He'll get free throws coming up with 13 and a half to go. This is an Arizona team that just looks completely in control. So here's Arizona at the floor. Burry's with it now. Lob. Awaka. There's two more for Tobe Awaka. So apparently the foul was on Arkansas. Okay. Awaka with a basket. He's got 9. And it's 78-57 with 13 minutes to play, or near 13 minutes to play. Thomas looking for a pass. Flings it to Brazil in the left wing. Shot fake. Drive. Stops. Kicks it back out. Richmond. 10 to shoot. This is Wagner. Wagner on a drive. Missed the bunny. Rebound. Karchenkov. Burris on the run now for Arizona. Burris. Way off. Rebound Arkansas Thomas. Hogs now with Wagner. Thomas taking it to the basket, and he lays it in. Great work by Malik Thomas. 78-59. Arkansas with just their 6th made field goal of the half. Eat now on the left wing. He'll give it to Del Orso. Del Orso now flares it back. Burris on the block. Burris. No good. Rebound, Arkansas. Brazil. Wagner. Wagner. Flare to Richmond. Richmond cans a 3. Good job by Billy Richmond III. We have some news, by the way, regarding the tournament. We'll share with you at the next dead ball. Burry's in a straight jacket. He calls a timeout. 2 remaining for Arizona. They have just confirmed the tip times for the regional finals. So the 609, if you will, regional final is going to be the South Regional Final. That's Iowa against the winner of Illinois and Houston. And meanwhile, in the West, the late game will be the West Final, Purdue against the winner of this one between Arkansas and Arizona. So South is the quote-unquote early game Saturday, and the West will be the late game. There you go. And now, Darius Acuff had to be held off with a right shoulder injury. We did not see that. And I'll tell you, we're watching that Illinois score, though. I mean, what a performance by the Illinois Fighting Illini. And now Brad Underwood trying to get the team to the Elite Eight, hoping to just a little bit better. So yeah, let me get those times right again. 6:09 will be the game in the East. Then 8:49 Eastern, the tip time for the game in the West on Saturday. So here it's a 16-point lead for Arizona, who has just been pretty much running this since the word go. Could be having an all Big Ten Elite Eight game on Saturday, and it could be Big Ten versus Big 12. So the Big Ten, well, they've had a great tournament. Of course, they've had the much publicized dry spell. 2000, the last time a team from that conference won in the tournament, won the national championship. That was Michigan State. Boy, they've been impressive. In fact, when the late games tipped off, the Big Ten had both the Elite Eight spots, and they look like they're going to have 3 teams win tonight, and of course they've got more chances tomorrow with Michigan State and Michigan. Here's Del Orso in and out on his jumper. Rebound. There's a whistle and a fight for it. On the deck, tie up, and possession arrow will give the ball to Arkansas. 2 timeouts remaining for each team. So here is Arkansas up the floor. Acuff. Now over to Wagner. Acuff missing. Awaka, and Awaka's fouled on the way down. 4th team foul, Arkansas. This one on Brazil. 10:59 left, a 16-point lead for the Wildcats. And we're getting a review for some reason. That makes a lot of sense. Maybe it's a flagrant? I don't know. So, I don't know if it was a flagrant or if it just stayed the same. Anyway, the review's over. Hell, it is a technical foul. Okay. It is a flagrant. Free throw missed by the Wildcats. Another one here. That one's no good. So Awaka misses two. So they did call it a flagrant on Brazil. However, Arizona still up 16, and they will have the basketball. Illinois up 11 with 7:35 to play, trying to make their second Elite Eight in 3 years. Of course, the last time they were in the Elite Eight, they were more remembered as the footnote, as the team that conceded a 30-0 run to UConn. You know, one of the more dominating championship runs we've ever seen, what Connecticut did 2 seasons ago. Bradley now over to Krivas. Krivas now over to Karchenkov. Here is Awaka. Here's Krivas. And a flush with 2 hands. Krivas rocks the rim. Arizona's hit 80 points, and there's still 10.5 minutes to play in the game. A cuff and whistle and stoppage. It's just been that kind of a night. Arizona has just been running here. Been running and running and running. From the word go, okay, whatever that situation was. Good to see that has been resolved, and we resume basketball. Arkansas with it. This is Wagner on the right wing. 9 to shoot. Wagner in trouble. High. Brazil lost it. He did get it back, though. 4 to shoot. Brazil's got a pull. Misses the 3. Rebound in. Grabbed into the hands of Del Orso. Now here is Bradley. Bradley knifing in. Tried to draw contact. Good call. Good job, Bradley, leaning in and drawing the contact. 15 foul, Arkansas. Here is the first free throw. No good. Arizona, Tommy Lloyd, 33 wins in the year 1, 28-7 in year 2, then 27-9 last year, 24-13 for a bit of a slow start. This year, 32-2. And if there's an Arizona team that's going to break through and get to at least the Final Four, it feels like this one. Now, not saying they've won this game yet or that they won't be tested by Purdue, as Bradley hits the second, but it's a team that looks pretty darn good. Arkansas now, Brazil, Ewan, and Wagner with 3 each. Brazil stays in the game, though. Right wing 3 is Can. Good job by Brazil on the triple. And that cuts it to 16 with 9:39 left. Arizona with the basketball. Brazil now with 7 points. Arizona going up the floor. Bradley now gives it to Awaka. Awaka to Del Orso. Bounce pass Awaka. He drives and he lays it in. And the foul. Tobe Awaka with a chance at a 3-point play for Arizona. He's just been... He has just been... What the hell? Just been that kind of a night for U of A. Awaka now has 12. 84-65 lead for Arizona. A cuff. Blocked by Krivas. Arizona running now. Aristode back into the game. Had the ball slip out of his hands, but he got it back. Here's Del Orso for three. Book it. Anthony Del Orso. 3-ball. Lead at 22. Thomas fadeaway. Rimmed out. Pringle on the way, got the rebound and then was fouled on the way down. It's so interesting that Arkansas, every tournament, well, post the 2021 year COVID, where there was truly no West Regional, they've been in the West bracket every tournament. 22, they were in the West, of course. They went, oh, I see. Pringle slammed the basketball with 2 hands and got teed up. That's what that was. Can't do that. Nick Pringle just frustrated. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get busted for that. Krivas will go to the line for Arizona. Now, Arkansas, but to finish up the 22, they went to the West. Actually played their first 2 games that year in Buffalo, beating Vermont and New Mexico State. Then went to San Francisco, where they beat Gonzaga, the top seed, before losing in the regional final to Duke. The next year, they were in the 8-9 game. They played in Kansas City. Or no, they played in Des Moines, where they defeated Illinois and then upset top-seeded Kansas. They advanced to the Sweet 16 in the West that year out of Las Vegas, but was blown out by UConn. Didn't make the tournament in 24, and then last year, they played the first 2 rounds in Providence, beating Kansas and St. John's. They were in the West bracket, so they went to San Francisco and lost at this stage to Texas Tech, and now they're beating Hawaii and High Point. It looks as if Arkansas is going to come to another defeat in the West before the Final Four, and the drought continues. You think Arizona's Final Four drought's long. Arkansas hasn't been since 95. They went to the national championship game that year. Of course, they won it in 94, as we mentioned earlier. The next year, they went back and then lost the championship in Seattle to UCLA. So, technical free throw. So, it's not Krivas taking them. I think Arizona realized they could pick and choose, so Del Orso takes it. Makes the second, does Del Orso. 8:52 to go, and Arizona is up by 24. And they're going to get the ball back. And now you got free throws for the actual foul here. Okay, so that's where that comes in. And front end of a 1-and-1 rims out. 89-65. Here's a deep 3 for Arkansas that goes. So 3 more for the Hogs. Bradley now gives it to Aristode. Aristode, top of the key. Double teamed, in some trouble. Gives it to Bradley. 12 on the timer now. They slowly just dribble the clock out. Bradley, good deflection. Only as far as Del Orso, 5 to shoot. And there's a whistle before he pulled for a ridiculously long 3. I think the foul, though, was called on... Or was there just maybe it's just an illegal screen or something. Maybe over and back. I don't see a foul listed for anybody. Either way you slice it, Tommy Lloyd telling his team to just keep calm on that bench. He's one of the best coaches in the United States. I know people will say he has not been to the Final Four, but see, when you can't judge people solely off the NCAA tournament because it's such a risky thing and it diminishes the regular season and all the hard work. And, you know, the tournament's fun, but it can be a bit of a cruel mistress when judging legacies. As the layup was good a minute ago for Arkansas. Here's Bradley with it for Arizona. Inside of 8 to play. And Bradley turns it over. Here's Arkansas. Acuff ahead of the pack. Watch out. Nice change of hand for the layup. Darius Acup perhaps playing his final 7 minutes and 35 seconds as an Arkansas Razorback if they don't turn this around. And a trap, and whoa, look out there. A foul called on, or is it a jump ball? I think it's going to favor Arizona, and there was a really tight scramble there. 7:31 to play. Arizona 89, Arkansas 72. We'll be right back. Nighttime fully descending on the city of San Jose. Midnight on the East Coast. And the clock about to strike midnight, it would appear, on a very good season for the University of Arkansas, as Arizona has just proven to be too much. They are what the kids would call a wagon. Just an absolute wagon. 7:31 left, and a 17-point lead for a good team from the SEC. Here is the first Arizona free throw. It's actually a 1-and-1. But you know it's going to be 2 because Bradley's the line hitting him. And he hits it. Looks like Houston's run will fall short. They're going to get knocked off by Illinois. 58-43 with inside of 4 minutes to play. Again, I said it earlier. I said you can make a case. All these 1 seeds winning, all this chalk everybody's talking about. But I think you can make a case that Brad Underwood's 3rd seeded Illini have been the most impressive team in this tournament to date. Never really were threatened against Penn, briefly threatened before turning it on against VCU. And really, they've had a lead for the good chunk of the night. Every time I look up and see, Illinois has been in the lead. Of course, they haven't been to the Final Four since that great 2005 team of D. Brown and friends. Acuff went for the lob to Rich, but it was too high. The ball bounced off the backboard. Sure, why you trying to do that stuff when you're down by 19. Just try to run your best offense possible, and then off the ball, Karchenkov gets decked. And they might go to the monitor again to make sure if this is a flagrant. John Calipari is so another official review gives us a chance to tell you what's coming up here on our channel. Coming up over the next few days, of course, we've mentioned tomorrow night here on the channel, 2 streams for you: Duke St. John's, Michigan State, UConn. Also over on the Mixler.com, Wellington Sports Radio, our sister, our good buddy Pierre Moss will have the Alabama-Michigan game. Regional finals, of course, on Saturday and Sunday. Also Sunday, we're going to have racing action for you. 1 o'clock, IndyCar at Barber Motorsports Park, the Children's of Alabama Grand Prix. And then a JBN production at 3:30, the Cup Series Cookout 400 at Martinsville. Billy Richmond has just been tossed from this game. They've reviewed the foul, and they've deemed it enough to where he has been kicked out, rubbing more salt into the wound for Arkansas. And on Tuesday night, we're going to have hockey for you: Flyers, Capitals, St. Louis, LA Wednesday, Thursday, Detroit, Philadelphia, Vancouver, Minnesota, Flyers, Islanders Friday, and then, as the first free throw is no good, we've got a boatload of more basketball coming your way. A week from tonight, a week from Thursday, we'll have the NIT semifinals: New Mexico against Tulsa, and then Illinois State and Auburn. Second free throw good. Richmond just pleading his case. It's just been everybody's just looking frustrated with Arkansas. It's like they're ready for this last 7-14 to get out. I say that, and they get the steal, Thomas, and then a strip out of bounds. But everybody's just been mad at everybody, it feels like, for Arkansas at some point tonight. Anyway, college basketball continues. We're going to have the women's Final Four next weekend. We're going to have a women's regional final for you next Monday night. Or this upcoming Monday night. And, of course, the women's Final Four on Friday and Sunday of next week. The NIT final on Sunday of next week. And then, of course, the men's Final Four from Indianapolis. Who's going to be there? Karchenkov. And Karchenkov is fouled. And then Pringle, when he let go, he took a bit of a hit on Karchenkov. And Arkansas is now, if you're Arkansas now, you have to just, you're now, it's almost like, I don't want to say they're playing dirty, but it's like they're frustrated, and they're just taking it out. And it's a shame, because they have had a really good year. They've had a really good run, but something that I don't think was talked about with the Arkansas run, yes, it was made, and you can only beat who is in front of you, as Pringle is fat out 6 points, but they didn't have to run the biggest gauntlet in the SEC tournament. They played 2 teams in that tournament who did not make the big dance: Oklahoma, and then they had an Ole Miss team who was on a Cinderella run. They did beat Vanderbilt, who was solid, a good Vanderbilt team in the final, but 2 double-digit seeds in the to get to the Sweet 16. And again, it's not Arkansas's fault, but it is what it is. It's Karchenkov with the rebound. Now, again, the last thing I want to do is give away a game, but now you're in a situation where, as Karchenkov will miss the second, now you can start sizing up Arizona-Purdue, and what a matchup that's going to be. 3 is missed, a walk of the rebound. The thing is, we know Arizona is so good in the interior and so good with their twos, but 2-point baskets, but boy, Purdue is going to guard that paint, and their size will cause problems. And how does Arizona handle Braden Smith? Koa Pete inside. Of course, you could ask the flip side, how's Purdue going to try and handle this Arizona offensive attack? Acuff now over to Wagner. Back to Acuff on the left wing. Acuff driving. Off the window, scored and one for Darius Acuff. So, free throws here for Arkansas, and Acuff hits it. What a job he's done this season. That's a young man with nothing to be ashamed of. Of course, got a shoe deal earlier in the week. First player that got a shoe deal while he was active. In the tournament. Pete, Awaka, 2 more. They're turning on the style now. 97-75, under 6 minutes to play. Acuff, baseline, kick out, Wagner, a 3, and there's been a stoppage. But yeah, I mean, but yeah, you're talking about a team in Arkansas as we had to break. But again, he'll make his more money. He'll make his money even more because he's going to go into the draft and be a high pick. And we don't do draft analysis here, so we're not going to tell you, make an opinion on what pick he should be. But you have a feeling he'll go pretty high. Ewan misses the layup, a foul though. And so the big man is heading to the free throw line. Free throw off the mark. 57 seconds left. 8-point Illinois game now. Referee's going to the monitor again, and again, John Calipari looks befuddled. The only thing I think that's been missing from Arkansas's night is a Calipari technical. Don't bet against it the way this night's going. Somebody did get teed up. Somebody did actually get teed up. Arizona is now shooting technical free throws. It's a miss for Burris. So, watch the technical. Apparently, Ewan said something at Pete. I don't know what happened there. But again, oh, it was Cal. It was Calipari who got the technical. Arkansas fans upset, and they'll feel like they've gotten short-sighted by the whistle. Calipari now with a clap motion. I don't know where the clap motion is. Probably at Ewan, his free throw shooter. But, you know, and Arkansas fans are just complaining to refs. I'm sorry, there might have been some 50-50 calls, but you're down 22. I don't think it's the Stripes' fault that you're in trouble here. You're just running into a juggernaut. Second free throw good to make it 98-77. 5:35 left, and Arizona just watching the time, the hourglass go, and breaking through to the Elite Eight. Bradley, fade away. Blocked. Good block by Isaiah Seeley, but Pete got it back. Oh, and a foul at Arkansas, and I think it might have actually been on Seeley, who has not started a game this year, but he's played in 18 of them. He averages 7 minutes a game, averages 3 points and a rebound. Two-shot foul coming up. Arizona with a chance to get to the century mark. And they make that one. By the way, with 5:19 to go, Arizona is flirting with their season high. Their season high was 107. That came in a game against Bethune-Cookman earlier this year. Well, they've now hit the century mark in this game, and there's still 5:19 to play. It's back December 22nd, 3 days before Christmas. Acuff for 3, rims out. Rebound gathered in by Pete. And now it's Arizona at the floor. Burris now over to Pete. Karchenkov, bounce pass. Pete, another slam. They have just had their way on those cuts inside here tonight. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they won't have it that easy Saturday night against Purdue. But still, it's impressive to watch. 19 assists tonight. Thomas with a lay-in. 102-79. Arizona on top as we're at 4.5 to play. Burris with the basketball. Burris. Now to Pete. Pete on the drive, inside, stops, muscles his way in, and he gets 2 more. And Arizona is now 3 points away from matching their season high. Here's Ewing. Now, kick out, Wagner, a 3. That one is no good. The rebound to Karchenkov. This is the 3rd time this year Arkansas has given up over 100 in a game. They have 117 as a walk-up airball's the hook shot. Rebound Ewing. They gave up 117 in a double overtime loss to Alabama on February 18th. Acuff drives and is fouled with 3:32 left. Of course, they gave up 111 to Florida on February 28th. That was their last loss prior to tonight, but it's going to come to a grinding halt here. It's all Arizona. They're 3:32 from officially confirming their spot in the Final 8. (104-79) Arizona, 3:32 left. Acuff misses short on the first free throw. What a game we're going to have at Prospect in San Jose Saturday night. Chalk holding the top 2 in the West, Big 12 versus Big 10. Arizona and Purdue. It's going to be an interesting chess match, that's for sure. Of course, Purdue has some guards that want to run too, but they like to do their work inside. But can they match the athleticism of Arizona? That'll be the $100,000 question. Is Acuff makes the second free throw, and it's a quick stoppage here. 3:31 play. Arizona, of course, they blitzed LIU in the first round. Got tested a little bit in the second half against Utah State. It was actually an Arizona turnover here. It is officially a final in Houston. Congratulations to Brad Underwood and the Illinois Fighting Illini as Acuff misses the layup. They're into the Elite Eight. They knock out last year's runner-up Houston. Tough way for Kelvin Sampson's team to have their season come to an end. A virtual home game, and they are outmanned by an Illinois team that looks oh so impressive. Karchenkov at 3, no good. Here's a steal. Wagner in front. Bobbles it a little bit, but he still lays it in. As we're now into the final 3 minutes of this one. And now a steal off the inbounds pass. Thomas trying to pass it, and then a foul called on Arizona. Now, whether it was in the act of shooting or not, there's going to be free throws either way. I think this will be a shooting foul, which will mean a pair for Malik Thomas. Good year for Arkansas, of course. They made the Sweet 16 last year, but as Thomas missed the first, but really wasn't a great year start to finish. Remember, they struggled out of the gate last year, and it really wasn't until early February when they won a game at Kentucky. That's what turned their season around, and then moved on to the round of 16. This year, though, more consistent, rock solid, and, of course, won the SEC tournament as Pete's having trouble with the inbound. He's going to burn his Arizona's going to burn its penultimate timeout here with 2:49 left. 104 to 83. Heck of a performance here tonight by Arizona. And bring on Saturday. So how about this? We're guaranteed at least one Big Ten team in the Final Four. Iowa, Illinois will be the first one on Saturday. The first regional final game on Saturday. The Illini and the Hawkeyes. Just absolutely amazing that Iowa, in Ben McCullum's first crack at this, is on its way to the Elite Eight. 2:46 to play. Burry Snell dribbles it up the floor into the hands of Pete. This is Bradley, I beg your pardon. Iowa and Illinois. And a foul inside. Illinois and Iowa, those two met just once in the regular season. That was January 11th in Iowa City. It was a 75-69 win for Illinois. Free throw, good. So Arizona adding more points to the line. Another free throw made. 106 to 83. 2:25 to play. It's all coming to an end for Acuff here and the Hogs. What a year it was. Wagner for 3, short. Came up front rim. Acuff gets the rebound, throws the circus shot up, and then gets fouled. First free throw misses off the front rim for Acuff. And Acuff makes the second. So 2:11 to play. 106-84 Arizona. Pete getting it inbounded. He gets it into the hands of Awaka. I wonder if Tommy Lloyd's going to wait to get it across midcourt. He's going to take a timeout here, empty the bench. get a full ovation and then let some backups play these last 2 minutes. Hasn't done that as of yet, though. 13 to shoot. Pete spins and nearly lost it. Gives it back to Burris, who had a little trouble with the pass. 6 to shoot. Burris a right wing three. Why not? No good. Awaka went for one more slam. Met at the rim. Arizona tried to save it. Goes out of bounds, and it will be Arkansas basketball with 1:41 to play. So here's Thomas for Arkansas. He drives in and he scores. As we're now nearing the final 90 seconds. And again, around 8:49 Saturday, Purdue and Arizona in the West. I cannot get enough about how box office that game is going to be. Not Acuff, it's Burris with it. Nine to shoot. Burris driving, score it, and one. Why not? It's just been that kind of night. Arizona's got a new season high in points for the year. They've hit Arkansas for 108. What a night for this Arizona team as they have done so well. Now, standing ovation. Most of the backups are coming in again. Now the Stars have been getting, and you would assume Burris will be subbed out when he makes the free throw, which he does. No, he's going to stay in the game. First team in the history of the tournament to have 6 players score at least 14 or more points in a single game. Rebound Arizona. Sadiq Gay has come in. A lot of fresh names in here for the last 50 seconds, although Braden Burris is a familiar one that handles the basketball. Burris dribbling it out. 30-second difference between game and shot clock. Burris with 8 now over to Karchenkov. Lob, here is Gay, and it's picked off. It's Acuff. And Seeley on a two-hand flush. Now Karchenkov will dribble out, shot clock off. John Calipari and Tommy Lloyd are already meeting at midcourt. Phenomenal year for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Phenomenal season. Winners of the SEC tournament. But they ran into a desert buzzsaw tonight. And it's an Arizona team that seems to be hell-bent on destroying past narratives. Arizona's in the Elite Eight for the first time since 2015 with a 109-88 dismantling of the SEC tournament champion Arkansas Razorbacks. And the Southeastern Conference is down to its last 2 bullets in the gun. And Arizona, one of 2 remaining from the Big 12, Iowa State, plays tomorrow night in what is becoming a Big Ten Invitational. And Arizona will have to beat a Big Ten team to reach the Final Four. Big Red, the mascot, applauding John Calipari and them. Arkansas can be upset tonight. There's nothing to be ashamed of with the year they had. It was a phenomenal year. But it was too much Arizona tonight. A well-balanced effort. And the Wildcats and the Boilermakers will meet Saturday night in San Jose. Your final score, Arizona 109, Arkansas 88. We thank you for watching this college basketball watch-along. Wildcats and Boilermakers in San Jose Saturday night. Buckle up and get the popcorn.